let's talk about migrants. Now, you keep hearing Priti Patel talking tough about our sovereign borders. In fact, let's listen to her.
We are introducing a points-based system, a firmer and fairer system that will take back control of our borders, crack down on criminals and unleash our country's true potential.
One of her trademark tough-talking speeches, but it seems like her words are empty. Of the 12,500 Channel migrants who've reached the UK by dinghy across the Channel this year, a record by a mile, 12,500 of them. We're on course for 20,000 at least by the end of the year and rising. Guess what? Not a single one of those migrants who landed illegally on our beaches has been sent away. They're all still here in the warm, embracing bosom of the British family. We've bunked them up in nice hotels, give them money, and we tell them we're going to process their applications for political asylum. They're all, of course, political refugees escaping war and terror. Trouble is, 87% of them are young males. They're not economic. They're not political migrants. They're economic migrants. 87% young males. They're coming here for work. So not a single one has been sent back. So that gives the lie that Priti Patel is in any way getting tough on this increasingly worrying situation. Our borders are about as sovereign as a sieve. This comes hand in hand with news that foreign criminals on our streets have soared to a record 11,000. What we're talking about is foreigners who come here to live, who commit such bad crimes they're sent to prison, and then we just let them out. I mean, why are they allowed? Go, please get back on the streets. You're welcome to stay in this country, even though we've sent you to prison. 11,000 wandering our streets, prisoners from foreign countries who've only got the right to stay here at our behest due to our generosity. If they want to come here and be useful citizens, contribute to the economy, have families, enjoy life in this free country, great. You're very welcome. But surely you're not very welcome if you break the law so badly we have to send you to prison. Instead, 11,000 of them have been let out and they're wandering our streets. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Let's talk to the chairman of Migration Watch UK, Alp Mehmet. Good evening, Alp.
Good evening to you, sir. Always good to be on your show.
Always good to have you. It's always the same subject, though, isn't it? I suppose I'm not shocked or surprised, but when we have these speeches, the like of which we just heard from Priti Patel, she gives one about once every 2 weeks, sovereign borders, we're going to crack down. 12,500 migrants arriving here on the beaches illegally by dinghy so far this year and rising. Not a single one of them has left this country. They're all here in hotels, being given money, being given a nice berth. I mean, where is the toughness in that?
Well, what can I say? Last time I was on, you asked me how I would describe the government's performance. Well, I've come to the conclusion that going even beyond what I said last time, pretty pusillanimous is how I would put it at the moment. The fact is that we just don't have the bottle, essentially, to stand up to the French. This is with regard to Channel migrants. Stand up to the French and stand up to the EU. You can bet your money, anything you like, that had it been the other way round, the French would have argued no end that we should be taking people back. I think it's disgraceful, frankly, that a country like France, first of all, lets people in without dealing with them when they should, when they claim to be migrants or asylum seekers or whatever. And secondly, encourages them almost to leave the country for our shores. That is just not on. And until we start really standing our ground with the French, I'm afraid that with regard to the Channel, it will just continue to go up and up and up. The numbers will.
Now, I've always said to you and to other people in the past that, Priti Patel, I mean, I don't deny her heart's in the right place, and she wants to talk tough. But the fact is, Alp, this country is a soft touch for people who want to come here illegally. I read at the weekend that I think 1 in 6 of these migrants who are having their applications for, quotes, political asylum, close quotes, processed, as I said, 87% of them are young men, have been rejected by other countries. So they go, the sort of suggestion that they zoom straight to Britain is often not the case. They'll try France, they'll try Austria, they'll try Germany. So 1 in 6 of our migrants that we're now putting up at Her Majesty's generosity and at our taxpayers' costs have been rejected by other countries, but they head here because they know we're a soft touch. And this is brought into sharp focus when we realise, or when it emerges now, that we have 11,000 immigrants who've broken our laws to such an extent we've had to send them to prison. And when they come out, we just let them get back into society. If they do that, we should kick them out of the country. We should deport them, shouldn't we? 11,000. We are just the world's softest touch when it comes to migration, aren't we?
Well, whether we are or not, that's exactly how we're perceived, and that is all that matters. It's not only other countries, but migrants themselves, and indeed, more importantly, the traffickers, who know that once they get people into our hands, there's no question of sending them back. With regard to the 11,000 criminals you've just mentioned, by and large, those will have been sentenced, as part of their sentencing, they would have been sentenced to deportation. So it's not even a case of the government deciding we can't do anything about this, but our courts have very often said that on completion of their sentences, these people must be deported. Our laws say that having been convicted of any crimes that attract more than a year's sentence, then you should be deported. Why aren't we deporting them? They're not all going back to France, where France refuses to take them. Very often they're going to other countries, and it seems we are incapable of actually making the arrangements that allow us to get these people back to the countries where they come from. That is not good enough.
It certainly isn't, and nor is the migrant situation generally, because it's not just the beaches that they come to this country via on these dinghies. They're also coming in through airports and other methods. So we have a kind of ongoing invasion unfolding day by day on an increasing basis. Now, I just wanted you to reiterate what you told us last time you were on, Alp. Because Priti likes to make great play of the fact she's got her migration and borders bill coming up, which she says will really sort all these problems out. But you told us last time you were on, you've read all 56, 58 pages of it or something, and you don't really rate it as the method that we're going to be able to use to actually stop this scourge.
No, I really don't believe that's going to happen. There are some good things in that bill. Dare I say, some of the things that we've recommended are included. But this is not going to stop people coming here, because ultimately the determining factor will be whether or not we are willing and able to send them back from wherever they came from. And I don't see that this bill will do anything about that. Just to go back to a little bit, Kevin, about the system that we were promised, the points-based system that was going to solve all our immigration problems. Yeah. Well, frankly, people took the government at their word. When we asked in a recent poll whether they thought that the immigration problem was solved, yes, they said the points-based system will solve it, and some 50% actually believe that the government will solve it. What is gradually happening, and in increasing numbers, is that people see that, frankly, they were conned. The government in the last election conned the people of this country into believing that immigration would be controlled and it would be reduced. The system that they have introduced is going to have the opposite effect. That is not on.
Extraordinary, extraordinary. Alp, I was about to say always a pleasure, but it's always so depressing when we talk about this. But it is a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time. Alp Mehmet, Chairman of Migration Watch UK. I'm Kevin O'Sullivan, and this is Talk Radio.